Now, in the previous session, I've explained the three modes of heat transfer. Now, today I am going to start the conduction heat transfer. What is the law for the conduction? And we are going to see the equation and uh, go into detail about this conduction mode of heat transfer. When when a when a temperature gradient exists in a body, there is an energy transfer from higher temperature region to the lower temperature region. For example, if you take this surface, okay, and this is at a higher temperature and this is at a lower temperature, what will happen? Always the heat will flow from the higher temperature to the lower temperature. Okay, this is at a higher temperature and this is at lower temperature. Always the heat energy will flow in this direction from higher temperature to the lower temperature, and the temperature gradient exists. That means the temperature at each and every point with respect to x. Say for example, if I take this direction as x, and the temperature at each and every point is not same, it is getting decreased, then there exists a energy transfer from the higher temperature region to the lower temperature region. Say for example, if the temperature gradient does not exist, what does it mean? That means the temperature is same throughout this x-axis. So if you have a same temperature, that means if there is no temperature gradient exists, then there won't be any transfer of energy. Okay, whenever a gradient, temperature gradient exists, gradient means with respect to distance. So here, whenever you have a temperature gradient exists in this body, then you have the energy transfer. Okay, now energy is transferred by conduction and the heat transfer per unit area. So now heat transfer per unit area is proportional to the normal temperature gradient. So Qx by A is directly proportional to dt by dx. Here the x refers to the direction. Okay, so now if I want to remove this proportionality sign, I have to introduce a constant. Okay, what is that? I'm going to introduce a k. So qx by a equals to minus k into dt by dx. This is nothing but the Fourier's law of heat conduction. So I have drawn a graph here. I've shown a graph here. You can see that the temperature is taken in the y-axis, and in the x-axis I have taken the x direction, and I'm going to consider only the one direction, that is with respect to x. You can see that the temperature profile is shown in the pink color. Okay, now what is the direction of flow? Direction of flow is from the higher temperature to the lower temperature. So it is shown here qx, q suffix x, which is shown in this with the arrow head here, and this pink line is called the temperature profile line. Okay, now here in this equation, the capital Q suffix x is taken as the rate of heat transfer. Okay, rate of heat transfer per unit area is called the heat flux, which is given by the small q suffix x. Okay, so now this is equal to minus k into dt by dx. What is this k? This k is called the thermal conductivity of the material. Okay, this is called the thermal conductivity of the material, which is denoted by the symbol small k. And you can also see that there is one negative sign. This is because of the second principle of thermodynamics. What it states is it is impossible to transfer the energy from the lower temperature to the higher temperature. So if you are having dt by dx, this will become as a t2 minus t1. That means this is t2 and this is t1. So this t2 minus t1, but this difference will give you a negative value. So in order to make it positive, so a negative sign is given over here. Okay, so now what is k? This k is nothing but the thermal conductivity. Now let us see how it is defined. Thermal conductivity, what is that? It is the ability of the material to conduct the heat, and it is symbol is given by k. And here the definition, you can also say that the thermal conductivity is the quantity of heat transmitted through a unit thickness in a direction normal to a surface of unit area due to a unit temperature gradient under steady state conditions. Okay, now symbol is K, the thermal conductivity symbol is K, and unit is watts per meter Kelvin. Okay, so now if you see the unit for the rate of heat transfer, it is watts, or you can also say that energy by time, that is energy by time is joules per second. Joules per second is watts. Okay, so the qx is watts and a is meter square, so the flux, heat flux is watts per meter square. Okay, this temperature dt will have the unit as Kelvin, and this dx will have the unit as meter, so this k will have the unit as watts per meter Kelvin. Okay, now I want to explain about the isotropic and anisotropic material. What is meant by that? What is the difference between isotropic and anisotropic material? Anisotropic means when the properties of the material vary with the different crystallographic orientation, then the material is said to be an anisotropic material. Isotrophic means when the properties is same in all the direction, then we can say that the material is said to be isotrophic. For example, if you are considering a material like this, okay, I am assuming that this is one material. If I am saying that the thermal conductivity of this material is same in all the directions, then it is called as isotropic material. But if I say that the thermal conductivity is different with the orientations of the material, then I can say that this is an isotropic material. Okay. Now, so now I've shown a figure. You can see that it is a composite material. Okay, what happens? You can see that there are three different materials in this. First material is A, B, and C. It is named as A, B, and C. So the interfaces are given as 1, 2, 3, 4. Four surfaces are there, and the direction of flow is given in this direction. That means this is at higher temperature, and this is at the fourth surface is at the lower temperature. You can see that it is linearly getting decreased. So the temperature is profile is shown by a linear line, but the slope in each and every material is different because the thermal conductivity values of each and every layers are different. Okay, now we have seen the Fourier's law of heat transfer, right? Fourier's law of heat conduction equation. Now, how it is analogous with the other laws in other subjects? Let us see that in detail in this slide. Okay. So, what is the law which we have seen in heat transfer is Fourier's law. The analogous law in the mass transfer is fixed law, and the analogous law in the fluid mechanics, that is the momentum transfer, is Newton's law of viscosity, and in electrical engineering we have the Ohm's law. Okay, now what is the equation for the heat transfer? That is the Fourier's law. It is Q by A equals to minus K into dt by dx. Okay, in the case of mass transfer, it is JA, it is equal to minus dAB into dC by dx. And in the case of fluid mechanics, the tau equal to minus mu into du by dy, and here it is I equals to V by R. So you can see that all the equations, it is arranged like rate equals to driving force by resistance. Okay, it is given in that form. For example, in this case, Q by A equals to minus K into dt by dx. If I am doing the integration, then you will get the delta t by x you will have, and I can take the K which is in the numerator to the denominator, and I can say that uh, x by ak. If I'm taking this a to the opposite side, I will get x by ak. X by ak is nothing but the resistance. Okay, and del T is nothing but the driving force. What is the driving force in the heat transfer? It is temperature difference. And what is the constant here? K, it is the thermal conductivity. So in the case of fixed law, in the mass transfer subject, it is DAB. DAB is that is nothing but the diffusivity coefficient, and here the driving force is concentration difference. Here it is DU, that is we will have the velocity gradient and pressure difference, and here you can write as absolute dynamic viscosity. And in the case of electrical engineering, it is resistance, and the driving force is the potential difference. And the gradient here is temperature gradient. In the case of heat transfer, in the case of mass transfer, it is concentration gradient. In the case of fluid mechanics, it is velocity gradient. Okay, so this is the similarity. These laws are very similar in nature, and that is why I have shown separately in this slide. Okay, now. We have seen the temperature profile. In most of the case, it is linear, and it is assumed that the thermal conductivity of the material is same in all the directions. That means it is an isotropic material. Suppose if we have a material, like if you have a material in which the thermal conductivity is a function of temperature, say for example K equals to K naught plus A into T, capital T, where K naught is nothing but the thermal conductivity evaluated at 0°C, and A, let us take the A as dK by dt. So in that case, we will the temperature profile follows a curved line. That means if you consider any anisotropic material, and the temperature profile will curved line will be different, and it will be different, and it depends on the value of this A, whether it is positive or it is negative. If it is positive, that means A greater than 0, then we will have the profile as convex shape. A greater than 0. A greater than 0 means it is positive value. So you can see that the curve is this upward curve. Suppose if this A value is negative, then the profile will be concave. That means it will be at the downwards. So the curvature of the temperature profile depends on the value of A. So this is special case. Okay. Up to this, any doubt? Okay, thank you.